Okay, so welcome to our Thursday night call. We are talking about content that connects. So when we are posting, we want to make sure that it is connecting with our audience because we want as many eyes to see our content as possible. Because if we don't have people seeing what we're sharing, we can't help anyone. So we're going to talk about how we can do that tonight. We're going to give some examples, and then we're actually going to spend some time creating a post. I'm going to give you a prompt, and we're going to kind of walk through it together. So that way you'll come away with it having an idea of actually how to do it and not just this is what to do, but you're going to actually be able to do it. So research has kind of shown that the evolution of social media kind of goes in and out. And so what research is now showing is that what used to be really what people wanted in terms of what they saw, it used to be being an expert. We saw this come after 2020. Everyone wanted, to be an expert, and you gave, here's 3 reasons why this helps, and here's five tips on how to be a better mom, and here's blah, blah, blah. Well, what research is finding is that it's kind of shifting back the opposite way. And while it's still really important to provide value to the people who are watching us, who are followers, really people want to see what is personal and what is practical. They want to know what is working for you, not just what you know. So that's what we're going to look at. Is we're going to look at how can we make sure that our content and the things that we are posting is going to be relatable, how it is going to be personal, while still providing value to the people that we are talking to. It needs to have both. And oftentimes I think we tend to fall into one of 2 categories. Either we share a lot of personal things and we don't really add any value at all, or we don't even add any of our like product, business posts, things like that are going to add value. Or we tend to be the opposite and we share too much value in terms of too many products, too much salesy, and we don't have this balance. And if we're on, regardless of which one we're on, there's going to be a shortcoming. If we are on one end, when people aren't going to stay because they're not going to care listening to us. If we're on the other end, people might love following us, but we're never sharing anything that is going to be a solution to their problem. And so we need to make sure we have a happy medium and we are somewhere in the middle. So people don't want, they don't just want tips, they want a connection. Even we are seeing, like, if you look at kind of marketing, even big companies, what they're doing and when they're like figuring out their marketing is they're not just going to like influencers and saying, hey, will you share this? Talk about it and share it in your thing. They want that, but then they're also saying, hey, we just want your content. Tell us what you would do and how you would do that content, and we want to use that. Because they know that connection is really important. And that's what we want. We want to be someone's favorite follow. So I want you to take a kind of an analysis. Think about your own page, what you typically post. And I want you to think, if I were looking at my own page, would I want to follow me? Would I be somebody that I would be interested in following? Some of us might be like, yeah, I would want to follow me. Like, I would like this. This is the type of thing that I like. So think about kind of the people that you like to follow. Like, why do you like to follow them? Am I one of those? I know I like to kind of think like, who are the followers? Like, who are the people that I like to follow and why? For me, like, Amber Miller, love her. I will follow her all day long. Now, if she could not be in Plexus, and honestly, I found her before I even knew she was in Plexus. I follow her because I love her content. It's a life that I want to live. I follow her. I love the way that she talks about her family and her marriage and things like that. You don't have to have like the most exciting life. Very few of us have a farm and, milk cows, but there's something about you that is unique and that is different. And right now, different is better. Okay. Whatever it is that makes you stand apart is what people want to follow. I see Katie on here. Katie lives in the Northwest. I love when she posts all about the mountains and hiking and all the things that she does up there. That is interesting to me. Like, for me, like, what makes me different? Well, I'm a coach's wife. Not a ton of people are. Like, I'm a coach's wife and I homeschool our kids, and my husband's a public school teacher. It's a dynamic that not many people have in their life. And so that makes me interesting. There's something about each one of you that makes you interesting and unique and why people want to follow you. If you don't ever share that, then you're going to miss out on relating to all of the people who want to follow you for those reasons. So when we are posting, we want to connect with people. We want to tell a story, and we're going to look at how we can tell that story and how we can use ChatGPT to tell a story. Now, I know we've talked a lot lately about using ChatGPT and things that we can put in, but here is the thing. If we don't add the personal part to it, and I'm going to teach you how you can do that in ChatGPT, but if we don't add that in, what can happen is people can smell that we're using ChatGPT. Okay, everybody is using ChatGPT. It's everywhere, and people know, she just shared with me, here's 3 tips of how to lower your, how to regulate your blood sugar. Here's 5 tips on how not to be bloated. If we leave it at that, people are going to stop following us. They're going to say, no, this is boring. I don't care. It doesn't, like, what do I care? What we have to do is, if we're going to add value, we have to make it personal. We have to share, hey, here's what I'm doing in my life. Here's how it's helped me. Here's what life used to be like. Tell a story, add some emotion to it. Like, what did you feel? What was things like? And then say, this is what I've changed, and here's how it's helped me. You can still add that value, but doing it in a personal way is what people want and how they're going to connect with you, rather than just, here's 3 facts and here's what I know. They want to know practically, how is it helping you personally? Okay. If your content could come from anyone, then it won't mean much to anyone. If you're just using ChatGPT and anyone could type it in and anyone could find those same tips, it won't mean anything to anyone. We want our content to mean something to the right followers, and those are people who are just like us. Okay. Now, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the 4 R's of content that connects. Okay. So I want you to think of these. While these are a type of post, you'll see that it's not a type of post in terms of like, this is a product post, this is a connection post. Essentially, we want all of our posts to fall into one of these 4 categories. So if you're taking notes, you want to especially write these down. Okay. 4 R's. The first R is real life. Okay. So we're posting real life. These are things that's actually happening in our everyday life. For example, my kids today were doing chalk outside. If I shared a post about them doing chalk, okay, it could be a track meet that we went to. It could be, I don't know, you're gardening. It could be, I've been on a garden theme today. I'm not sure why, but maybe you went and got mulch. Okay, this is real life, that what is happening. Okay, it could be like literally what you're doing. But if you're going to take this into a product post or something that you're talking about Plexus with, you don't have to necessarily say Plexus, but you are going to, this could be something like how you aren't falling asleep in the afternoon anymore. Okay, so you're not taking, like, you're playing with your kids instead of sitting on the couch. Okay, so you want it to be real life, what is happening in your real life. Okay, that's one. The second R is relatable. These are like those Me Too moments. Okay, like you read something, and we all know it because we watch it all the time. You watch something that someone has posted, or you read it and you're like, oh, yep, totally get that. Like, yep, happened to me today. Okay, think of the example of like, for me, and I don't know if you guys can relate, but whenever you're mad, like just your day is going off and you're just kind of irritated, what inevitably happens? I catch my pocket on the drawer knob. Anybody else? Like, okay, or something like that. You're always mad, and like whenever you're mad, like I saw Katie raise her hand, like what happens? You catch your pocket and you're like, oh man, right? So like those are like those relatable things. Sharing something like that where you just share that story. People are going to relate to it, okay? These are kind of like your quirks or things that make you, okay? The next type would be refreshing. Now, oftentimes our refreshing posts are the posts that get shared the most, and I'm going to explain a little bit why. But these are like your light-hearted posts. They kind of entertain people. They could be funny. They could be more faith-based. They could be encouraging, very lighthearted, joyful, kind of lightens the mood. These tend to be the posts that are shared the most. And the reason is we have to remember, when are people scrolling social media? Well, a lot of times, moms who have kids in school, they're sitting in the car line, they're waiting for their kids. So what are they going to do? They're going to scroll social media. Okay. Anyone go to the bathroom, and when you have 5 minutes alone, you're scrolling social media. Okay, maybe before bed, your husband is sitting next to you watching something loud and you are scrolling and you don't even have the words on, like you don't even have sound on, but you're scrolling. Those are the moments that most people are scrolling. If we get lost in the noise of social media, think about it, there's a lot of people posting. If we don't have these lighthearted things that people are wanting to see, we're going to get lost in that noise. And people are just going to scroll right by. So we have to remember we've got to add these in because this is what people want to see when they're scrolling. They've had a hard day. They've been running around all day. Now they got to pick their kids up. They have 5 minutes. They're like, oh, wow, I like that. Or that made me laugh. Okay, we have to add these in. All right. And then the last one are our results. Okay. This is where we're going to show people that we are trustworthy. Okay. This is us showing what we are doing is working. It could be in our own lives. It could be through testimonies. It could be anything that is showing what I am talking about is working in my life or a friend's life. This does not just have to be, like I said, not like all of these. It is not just a specific, like, here's a product post, here's a life one. These are kind of a range. You can really mix in all of them with the product, all of them, but results tend to be more of your product focused posts or maybe your business posts because it's results. But you can even use this when you're adding value in just something that you enjoy. Like I said, I'm on to gardening today, probably because I need to go buy plants to plant in our garden boxes and I haven't done it yet and it's on my mind. But this could be like, a tip for a spray that I made that is non-toxic, that is keeping the bugs from eating my plants. Okay, that would be a result. It has worked. You say, hey, this is what I made. Like, look at my plants. They're doing great. Okay, results. Okay, it's kind of self-explanatory. We want to make sure, though, that every one of our posts fits into one of these categories. Showing real life. It's relatable. It's refreshing. It's showing a result. Okay, we're adding value in those results posts. So making sure, and if we remember these when we're posting and when we're creating our posts, it's just going to help us to connect better with our audience because all of these things are ways that our audience is going to connect with us and what they want to see. So whether it's a product post, whether it's just a life post, if it's falling in one of these and we can use this like little mental check, like, okay, does it fit in one of those? Am I showing results? Am I refreshing? Okay, would this be like, if we do that mental checklist on all of our posts, we can ensure that we're going to create content that people want to see and that they're going to stay around and follow us for. If they don't stay around, if they just just scroll right through and they don't see anything that we're sharing, we're never going to help anyone. But we have to relate to them. Remember, they follow you because of you. They don't follow you because you sell Plexus. They follow you because they liked you and they see then that you love Plexus products or you love this business. When I follow people, I tend to follow people who, for me, it's like homeschooling, homesteading, things like that. And I stay following them because I enjoy what they are showing themselves. They could post, random facts about things and like, I might look at one or two, but I'm not going to really follow them. And I'm just going to scroll right by. And then guess what? I'm not going to see them anymore. And so if we want people to see what we are sharing, we have to be personable, we have to be relatable, and we have to keep people engaged. And that comes from showing ourselves. So a couple little extra tips, and then we're going to spend some time actually doing this. I don't know where I put those extra tips. Somewhere. I have about 10 pages here. No, really only 2. Okay. All right. One thing. So what research is showing right now is that videos, whether Instagram or Facebook, videos are what the algorithms are prioritizing. And it's because Instagram and Facebook are out to make money. And in order to make money, they want to keep you on their site. And so they can do that by having you watch videos. So if you are posting a reel, it could be B-roll, it could be your face, you talking, a story, whatever it is, if you're posting reels, those are automatically going to be prioritized because it's going to keep people on there longer. And that's what they are prioritizing is videos. So if you have not stepped into reels, I'm going to give you a couple tips on how to do it, but it's very simple. You don't have to have these funny reels. I feel like when I started 4 years ago, it was like we'd always did these funny reels and things like that. The good thing now is we can use B-roll. If you don't know what B-roll is, it's essentially just a video of something in your day. It could be you know, a short clip of like my candle here, like burning. It could be you washing dishes. It could be I don't know, one of my friends did this the other day. She was frosting a cake. And then she put words on the screen, but she didn't even like she was in it, but she didn't have to do anything funny, things like that. You can use that B-roll and put information on it that people are reading. Now, don't overwhelm them in what you're putting. Make it valuable and make it engaging, but you can use that. So if you're a little hesitant about Reels, that's where I would start, is using kind of that B-roll kind of content. Also, carousels are also what is showing to be very popular and what people are engaging on a lot on, especially on Instagram. Not so much on Facebook, but Instagram. If you don't know what a carousel is, it's essentially multiple pictures that you're scrolling through. It could be literally just pictures. So for instance, when we went to Dollywood, I put pictures and I just put several pictures. I had a caption. I just said several pictures. That's a carousel. A carousel could also be several different pictures with text on top of the pictures. Could be that. It could also be just like a graphic that has words on it. So you could, it could be like, several different things that you're talking about. Kayla does this every once in a while, and they're really good about different, I don't know, she could be like telling, I don't know, like several facts about something. And she does a little bit on each one. It gets people to continue to scroll. It could also be, what was in my mind? Oh, parts of a story. Let's say you're telling a story and you can break it up like in little bite sizes. Part of your story here, part of the story, next one. People will stay and scroll to read the story. And so that's another way, and that seems to be really popular. So just a couple things. You want to have a mix though. I think I already said this, but if not, we talked about these 4 R's. You want to make sure that when you are posting, they're not all in one of these categories. You want to have a mix. And so you want some to be real life. What's just going on in your life? People just want to see what is going on in your life. You want things to be relatable, things to be like, oh, yep, totally get that. Yep, that happened to me. You want some things that are refreshing. You want the results. You have to have a balance of all of those things for people to kind of stay. And like I said at the very beginning, if you have all of one and not something else, like if you're all sales posts and no personal life, or all personal life and no adding value, talking about what problems our products or our opportunity solves, like there's going to be a disconnect. You have to have a happy balance in the middle. So let's kind of work through this. I'm going to give you a prompt that we're going to put in, and you're going to kind of do this. So we're going to spend a little bit of time doing this, and then we'll come back, and I've just like a couple other things. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to explain it, and I'm going to let you do it, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to look on our camera roll, and I want you to pick a picture, or if you're good with Reels and you want to do a reel, it could be a video. Okay, you're going to pick something, okay? It doesn't matter if it has to do with Plexus or if it's just life. Okay, remember, just have it fit one of those 4 R's. Does not matter what type of post it is, though. You're going to pick one picture. Then I want you to ask yourself, what does this photo represent? So here's my example. I did this when I went through this training. I used a picture of my daughter. She was cooking pancakes at the stove. And so what did that photo represent to me? Well, here's the things, some of the things I wrote down. It's things that it represents what I'm teaching my kids. It represents pride in watching her grow. It represents a warm feeling of gratitude for being able to raise my children. Okay, so just a couple things. What does it mean to you? And then you're going to use this prompt to kind of help build your story. So I'm going to tell you the prompt. I'm going to put it in the chat, and then I'm also going to put it in our team thread. So there's lots of ways that you can find it. Here is what the prompt says. And you're going to put this into Chat GPT. I wasn't clear on that. That's where you're going to put it. Okay, you're going to say, help me turn a personal story into an Instagram caption. If you want to do Facebook, you can say Facebook caption. Doesn't matter. Here's the photo I'm using. Either attach the photo. There's just a little button there. You can attach the photo once you put the prompt in, or you could just briefly describe it. My 10-year-old, or my, 10, oh gosh, she just turned 12. My 12-year-old daughter is making pancakes at the stove. Just describe it, okay? Or attach it. I attached mine, way easier. Okay, and then you're going to say, here's what I was feeling, and then insert the emotion that you are feeling or the memory. This is how we are going to use ChatGPT in a personal way. Here is how we are going to take our prompts and what we are getting from GPT that anyone can find and everybody is using, and how we are going to make it personal to fit us so that people like it, they engage with it, and it sounds like us. Okay, here's the piece here. We're going to tell it what we were feeling. Okay, very simple. Insert the emotion, the memory, what thoughts were brought up. Okay, then you're going to say, here's what was happening around me. Give the context. For me, I put, it was a really busy day. My daughter had asked for pancakes. I was too busy to make the pancakes. She did it herself. Okay, I want the takeaway to be, and then you're going to insert a lesson or a value. Okay, if this is a product post, this is where you can add in your value content, like what you want people to learn. If this is just, you know, a kind of a connection type post like mine was, I'm just kind of relating to people, then I would just kind of put, I talked about, what did I even talk about? Basically about being able to raise our kids and teaching them life lessons or something, like life skills, something like that. And then I said, please write it in a warm conversational voice, like I'm talking to a close friend. And then this is optional. You can include a question at the end to spark comments. Here's what I will say. Sometimes, and it really kind of depends on your audience, sometimes asking a question at the end is really helpful and it will draw engagement. That's not always the case. So you don't necessarily have to end in a question and say, tell me what what do your kids like to do, or what do your kids cook? You don't necessarily have to do that, okay? So that's kind of optional, but that's what we're going to do. So I want you to start, while I put all this in the chat, I want you to find your picture or your video, start asking your question about what this represents to you, and then you're going to go ahead and put all of that into ChatGPT. Here's what I would love for us to do. I would love, once you have done that, and once it like spits it back out to you, you're most likely going to have to say, well, that's not quite right. It actually happened like this, or can you make it sound a little bit more like me? Maybe a little less, let's see if it's a product one. Sometimes I say like a little less, or sometimes even say a little less salesy, a little less informational, or like make it your own until it's something that you like. And then I want you to put it in our chat, the Legacy Builders chat. Put it in there with your picture. You can post it tonight, or you can just hang on to it and post it whenever you are needing a post. Maybe you already posted today. Maybe you have your content already set out for the week, so you do not have to post it right now. But I would love to see what everybody is making in the chat. So, all right, find your picture. I'm going to put, let's see, I'm going to do about 8 to 9 minutes. You may not finish. If not, that is okay. I just want to come back and make sure we have time before it ends. But I'm going to go put all of those prompts in. And if you have any questions, feel free to unmute or type them in the chat while you are working. Hey, that's okay if you can't attach a photo. You can always just like describe it to them and they'll get it. You might have to do a little more tweaking if you don't have it attached, but that's okay. I know sometimes you hit those limits. I feel you. Okay, we got about 30 more seconds. If you don't finish, don't worry. You can at least get it started and you can finish it after. Okay, so there's 30 seconds. Adam just tried to get ice from the ice maker I was on, so hopefully you guys didn't hear that. But all right, last couple things I want to talk about is if we are trying to create a mix of these different posts, oftentimes it's really helpful to kind of map out our week or our month to make sure that we are having that mix. It can be hard if we're just flying by the seat of our pants saying like, okay, I got to make a post today. It can be hard to kind of balance these out if we are doing like that. Some people do great. I am not one of those people, but having a plan and having some sort of strategy, it doesn't mean fake. It means that we're being faithful and we want to take ownership and we want to be strategic in what we are posting. So creating it out on a calendar or through the week and writing like, maybe you want this day to be some sort of results, or this one you want to make sure you have relatable, refreshing, things like that. You can create like a calendar for the week if you want and have like each day a theme, like Monday might be real life, Tuesday, maybe, results, things like that. But you don't have to do that. You just want to make sure you have a balance in there. One thing that I will say, and we want to kind of keep this in mind when we're thinking about our posts, is that as we get towards the weekend, a lot of times people like, sometimes I've noticed it on mine, like even sometimes like Thursday, but especially Friday, people are in weekend mode. Like they don't want like heavy things. That's when they want the refreshing, the light, the funny, the relatable moments like that on that kind of Friday into the weekend. And then when Monday comes around, they can generally handle some more, I don't know, not harder, but like more of the results, more things like that. But weekend, like a lot of times people are just like, they're busy on the weekends. So maybe they're not even scrolling that much. If they are scrolling, they just want some of those light things. So kind of keep in mind, like, how do you feel at different parts of the week? And what are the things that you like to look at those different times? And make your content kind of fit that and relate to that, because you know that you are trying to attract people who are like you. So that is that. Our content, it doesn't have to be polished. So I want, if you're out there, and Jochebed, I'm pointing you out because I know that you tend to be a perfectionist, which is not a bad thing. But for this, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. It has to be felt. Your audience, we want them to feel something from our posts. Remember that our story, what we have walked through, might be the very thing that someone else needs to hear what their next step is. It could be in life, it could be in their health, it could be in their finances, it could just be in their day-to-day life as a mother or as a wife or whatever the case might be. And so the more relatable, the more real we can be in sharing our story, the more encouraging and the more value we can add to other people. The last thing is that people want to see your face. So I would encourage you to at least show your face once a day in your stories. It's really easy. It can be really easy to put up graphics and, hey, we've got a sale, or even like pictures of us making our drink, or, the kids playing or things like that. But try and show your face somehow. It could be anything. It could be just talking about your day. It could be talking about the products, talking about the opportunity. It could be anything. Just show your face. People want to see you. Remember, they are following you because of you. And so they want to see you. Okay. All right. I think that is all that I have. We have like 2 minutes left before the time cuts us off. Does anyone have any questions before I kind of end? And I'll stop the recording and then if you have any questions.